Please take out your Japa beads because this is a Japa session. And it's chanting. I made a suggestion to Rishi before. He didn't appreciate it. I said, because he has one balloon. So if he has another 10, 5 on each hand, maybe Sparse is interested. I'm interested. Usually not yet. What do you think of that idea? Interesting? Or you'll need more than 10? Maybe 10 before prasadam and 20 after prasadam. Maybe 100. Okay. Now just keep in mind that when we're about to chant Japa, that this is a time when we can associate with Krishna through His holy name. So let's just chant for a few minutes and try to hear Krishna's holy name. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Prabhupada say in a lecture recently in Mayapur. He said that the purpose of the Varnashrama system, which means the cultural system that the ancient Vedic culture was based on, the purpose of the system was that to make our mind peaceful. That means that one's career and work and family, occupation, everything is organized the way that the kings rule, the way that the brahmanas, that they instruct. It's all to make everyone's mind peaceful. But that peace isn't a purpose within itself. The purpose of having a peaceful mind was to be able to focus the mind on Krishna. And we see often when we sit down and chant Japa, the biggest obstacle we have is that the mind isn't peaceful. Because our lives aren't organized in the scientific Varnashrama way. No one practically can do this in the modern world. And therefore we get the result of not having a peaceful mind, and then we get the result of always being in anxiety, ever increasing anxiety. Manda samanda mateo, manda abhagya upaduptaha, the mind is always disturbed. And therefore when we sit down to chant Krishna's name, there's a tendency to think about everything else in the whole world. If you have a satellite dish attached to your television, how many channels can you get? Does anyone know? No. Yes, there's an honest man over here. Okay. How many do you?
I think it's like 100, maybe 200.
There we go. So that's sort of what the mind is like. It's just continuously 100, 200 channels, continuously changing, but all we're really trying to do is focus the mind on Krishna, on Krishna's name. Because after all, that's what we're doing when we put the beads in our hand and sit down or walk perhaps. We're trying to chant Japa, but that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to focus our consciousness on the sound vibration of Krishna's holy name, because Abhinakam Nama Nama, and Krishna and his name are the same. And this is how we can actually be with Krishna, by chanting his holy name. He's no different from his name. And then what channel is going on out there? Children have so much energy in the physical body, but once we get older, our energy seems to be all in our mind. Okay, why don't we close that door? So what we want to do is chant Japa and associate with Krishna and his holy name. Thank you, Mataji. We need someone to organize this. Happy to see you. Come in, come in, come in. Move forward a little bit, gentlemen. Move forward. So to do that, there are, in this Japa book that was put together, we've mentioned 4 simple principles. And the first principle, there are 9 different hints in here, but or keys. But we'll just speak about 4 of them. The first one is just, of course, to chant. And then the second one is just make the task very, very simple. And that simple task is just try to hear the holy name. One mantra, not try to chant 16 rounds attentively, or not try to chant 1 round attentively, or just try to hear one mantra. And if you can hear one Hare Krishna mantra, if the mind can actually touch the sound vibration of Krishna's name as it's coming from your mouth, if your mind can actually touch the sound vibration by speaking it and hearing it, very, very fortunate. And keep the goal very, very simple. Very simple. To hear one mantra, or even to hear one name of Krishna. Keep it really simple. Just try to hear even one name, Hare Krishna or Rama, chanting the mantra. And if the consciousness can touch the sound vibration of Krishna's name through the process of speaking and hearing, that's the process of allowing the consciousness to touch Krishna's name, then that is very wonderful. Now, the peculiar thing about chanting Japa is that in Kali Yuga everyone's mind is disturbed and everyone has so many anxieties and problems in Kali Yuga. And we have all reason to not be peaceful, but yet if somehow or another, or rather the best thing we can do, to solve the problems and to be happy is to train the mind to hear. This is the basic process that we use to train the mind, is to just hear the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, even one name, one mantra. If we can do this even a little bit, if we're successful even a little bit, we are so fortunate, and the results are very apparent from what I've seen. But before we can succeed, we have to know what we want to do. Before you can successfully cross the road, you have to know that what you're trying to do. I'm trying to cross the road. Before we can chant Japa properly, and this is a very, very basic and essential step, but it's very basic, is just try to hear, or putting it another way, touch the mantra or Krishna in the form of the sound vibration with your consciousness by trying to hear the sound that you're making. Very simple. And what I've seen is that to make it even more simple, just try to hear one name or one mantra, or some devotees taking some hints from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, try to hear like Hare Krishna, putting the mantra together into the 8 different combinations of names, Hare Krishna being 1, Hare Krishna being 2, Krishna Krishna, and Hare Hare. Just try to hear a combination of those things. But the point is, however one does it, keep it very, very, very simple. And just try to hear Krishna's holy name. Again, touching Krishna's name with consciousness through the process of hearing. Does it sound simple? Yes. Is it simple? Yes. Is it easy? Well, some days it is, and some days it's the most difficult thing in the world. But never mind. Just try to hear one name even. Don't worry, and don't even strain, because that makes it even harder. You know, you're making the mind stronger and go in the opposite direction when they have to take it easy. Just gently touch the name of Krishna with your consciousness by hearing it. I remember one time I was giving a Japa talk, and after basically making this point, we were chanting Japa, and then one young Mataji, who was very young and even wild, she just said, "This is so simple." And actually, when the mind calms down a little bit, it's the most simple and natural thing in the world to pay attention to what you're doing. But Kali Yuga means that no one is paying attention to what they're doing. People are walking down the street and they're talking on their mobile phones and they're somewhere else, and everyone is somewhere else other than where they are. Which sounds funny if you think about it, because you can't be anywhere else other than where you are. But everyone's trying their best. So the mind is always so disturbed in Kali Yuga. But if we can just be in Krishna's association, we'll be much happier. And actually, the goal of Krishna consciousness is Kirtanya Siddhahari, or to always be in Krishna's association, to never, this is the safest place to be, is in Krishna's association. Maybe now we can leave that door open a bit. Maybe we can leave the door open so some air gets in, otherwise it gets a little hotter. But maybe put a chair there, but maybe make it clear that devotees should all bring 10 balloons with them if they're going to fit in this room. You know, in schoolrooms, at least in the West, traditionally, they'll never have the windows here. They always have the windows high. Why? Do you, in your school, are the windows low or high? High. Do you know why? Do you know why? Do you know why? Huh? Okay, just to confuse everyone, there's one low and one high. Well, why do you keep the windows high in a school? Raise your hand, raise your hand. If you can understand this very deep question. Mataji. Because what will happen if the windows are low? What will happen to everyone's minds? Huh? Everyone's mind will just go out the window. Because the mind is always looking for somewhere else to be than where it is. And the best training for the mind is to focus it. If we can just accept this point that at least during Japa, at least during Japa now, there's nothing else we have to do. You have nothing else to do on your to-do list or whatever, other than try your best to touch the holy name with your consciousness through the process of hearing. So the first principle is try to hear one mantra or even one name. And second principle is become determined to do this. Just sort of say to yourself that right now, this is all I have to do. And the third principle, and so much of success in Japa will depend on just that. If we actually make that point to ourselves. And then the third point will be the mind will tend to wander because of its habit, and then just bring it back and try again. And don't feel bad, don't feel glad, don't feel sad, don't feel mad, don't feel... Huh? I already said that.
disgusted.
Huh?
Don't feel disgusted.
Don't feel disgusted. It doesn't quite rhyme, but but yeah, just try your best. Very simple. And don't get discouraged. Just try your best and bring it back. Now, if I will tell something to the youth here, especially if you're like 10 or 11 or 12 or 13, 14. You're in that category, you're 14 now. How old are you? 10, okay, you just joined it. Congratulations. But you don't have to leave because you're not 10. But I will tell you from my own experience that the best thing practically you can do for your whole life is if you're in that age group, learn how to control your mind. The problems you will have in life will be made like this if you learn how to control your mind, and this is the best training for the mind. And if you happen to be above 14, adult education is very handy and helpful. And you should also understand that the whole modern culture is going opposite to you, so it's not easy, especially if your mind's already trained to be, how to put it politely, crazy, and do whatever it wants, and pull you around all over the universe. But never mind. The difference between the effect in the consciousness, even on one day where you can hear some Maha Mantras, or a day when you don't hear any, because I found I can chant sometimes 16 rounds and not hear anything, and have just taken a tour of my whole life, and all the people that I should have told this, and all the bad things happen, and all the good things that happen, and this person's so stupid, and I'm so stupid, and the whole world is wrong, and I'm right, and then I'm wrong, and the whole world is right, and the mind is, what's the proper word? Crazy? Rascal. Restless. Yes, restless. The mind is restless. Prabhu sometimes say the rascal mind. Restless, on the rhyme. That means which mode of material nature? Restless? Passion. Sleepy is... And goodness means... Goodness makes us... Okay. Now there's more to chanting Japa than this, but this is such a nice place to begin. So you ready to begin? Do you know what the mission is? Mataji, you ready? You know what the mission is? To just try to hear one name of Krishna. There was one devotee who recently was talking to me, very important message. What? You didn't tell everyone, you just told your mother. Why not tell us too? Okay. Just try to hear one name or one mantra. And one devotee was telling me, my mind's so active. I read the book, it's good, but my mind is so active. Is there something else I can do? But from my experience, when the mind is active, keep it as simple as possible. And as simple as possible is just try to hear one mantra. So I'm telling you, just try to hear one mantra or one name. Someone is sleepy. Looks like. Are you ready? Are you gonna try? Okay, thank you very much. Will you try too?
Already tried.
Are you ready to try again? Yeah. Okay, very good. I've already tried too, and I'm still ready to try again. Be determined, for the time we're chanting, be determined that this is all I have to do right now. If without determination, and determination means try, if the mind wanders, bring it back, and it's sort of like you're trying to catch Krishna, and it's hard. But then if Krishna sees our sincerity and he grabs us as we're trying to touch him, then it becomes very easy. Ready? Is everyone ready? Okay. Take shelter of Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, Honesty Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu. Okay. Chant at your own speed. Just try to hear one thing. naming it. You're very happy if you get Krishna. many of you were chanting so nicely. We have to, at this point, we have to maybe close the door. Maybe we can open that door. Yeah, good plan. Don't everyone just look out the window. And even if you do, all you'll see is a brick wall. But the mind will even want to run it to do that. The mind is very peculiar sometimes. But if it can become attracted to Krishna, then that very mind, which can be our worst enemy, can be our best friend. Now, in the Bhagavatam, I wanted to just say one little pastime about Krishna, and then I'll tell you that some of what the acharyas say about that. I'll tell it briefly, but Srila Jiva Goswami explains that this particular pastime took place right after the two great trees fell down in Gokul. What were those trees called? They were Arjuna trees. And they were joined at the base. And they were twin trees, and two twins came out of the trees when Krishna broke them down by pulling the water through them. And then Nanda Maharaj untied Krishna, who was tied to the grinding water. Then he took him home. The Brahmins blessed him. He took him to the Yamuna and then took him home. And there's some wonderful pastimes that took place there. But very soon after that, Krishna and Balaram, who were always very restless, they were Mother Yasoda and Rohini were cooking for Krishna and Balaram. They just loved to cook. Mother Yasoda was always cooking for Krishna. And then they had Mother Yasoda and Yasoda Maya had asked two young, a little older, not older, but older than Krishna and Balaram, young girls to take care of them. And even if you're in Vrindavan, you see this, sometimes you see these girls about this big, they're carrying one baby who's about that big on their hip and just walking them. They're just a little older. But still, they're trained like this from, you have seen this? They're trained like this from a very young age. So Krishna and Balaram thought, because these young girls were taking care of them, I thought, this is going to be easy. So when the girls were talking or playing, just for a moment, their attention was elsewhere, and Krishna and Balaram hid somewhere. Just very close, actually. So immediately the two girls couldn't find them. So they went searching for them. And that was just what they wanted, because then they were looking for them somewhere else and they went in the opposite direction. And they went by the Yamuna in Gokul. And the Yamuna there was quite deep, and some not cowherd boys yet, they were just little boys that were just playing there. Just playing and playing, because boys play, they like to play. And they were playing with Krishna. So they loved to play with Krishna, and they were completely absorbed with playing with Krishna. And the nurses then called out, Krishna, Krishna, Balaram, Balaram. And of course the boys, they didn't come at all. So they went, the two nurses went to where Yasoda Maya was cooking. And they said that we can't find them, they've disappeared. So Yasoda Yashoda's mobile phone went off, and which reminds us we should all turn our mobile phones off, just for a moment. So she asked Rohini, because I want to cook, I want to continue cooking their lunch, and it's already getting late, you come and bring them. So Rohini went out and began calling out, Balaram, Krishna, come, it's time for lunch. Come, it's time for lunch. And they wouldn't come because they just wanted to play. Now, Rohini knew that love controls Krishna. And she knew that Yashodamaya's love was greater than her love. So she thought, I can't bring Krishna and Balaram back because they're all playing and they're enjoying that rasa. I remember even when I was growing up, every afternoon, my sisters would have to come out and call, otherwise I wouldn't come for eating either, because I was playing with my friends. So Krishna was just playing, the boys were just playing, and they wouldn't come because they couldn't give up Krishna's company because he's just so attractive. So Rohini went back and asked Yashodamaya to come because she knew that Yashoda's love was great. There was no envy there at all. Quite astounding. Because usually, always in the material world, we're trying to show ourselves as better than others, and even we bring that mentality into the devotional realm, and we try to be better than everyone else. Well, really, it doesn't work like that. So Yashodamaya went out. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the Bhagavatam with the proper verses in it. Yes, I do. Fortunately, I do. In the form of this monster. But sometimes it's a helpful monster. Huh? iPad. But look, you know what that is? Huh? Yes. How many? Yes, and you're just walking down the road so peacefully. So nice. That's what we're going to turn it back on. Now, so Yashodamaya, now, Srila Jiva Goswami, when he describes this, he said, just listen to, because Yashodamaya was calling out for Krishna. And he said, just listen to the sweetness of what she says. So, I won't be able to say it very sweetly, unfortunately. But she says, Krishna, Krishna, Aravindasha. Oh Krishna, who has eyes that are just like a lotus flower. Tata eha staram piva. Tata means like, oh darling, come and drink the milk from my breast. And as she was walking, just thinking her motherly affection for Krishna was so strong, the milk was coming from her breast. Oh Krishna, oh lotus-eyed one. Now, Mother Yashoda is very intelligent with her love. She's not only full of love, but bahut chalu. So she knew if she said, Krishna, come immediately, well, she was afraid he would just run away. So she began calling from a distance. And as she was calling, she was slowly walking closer to where they were. And she was trying to attract his mind, and she didn't want him to run away. So she said, come and drink the milk from my breast. Alam viharai chuchanta. That you've been playing all morning. And you must be hungry now. You must be tired from your playing. Krida shanto asiputraka. Oh my son, oh Putraka, you must be so tired from playing and so on. So she's calling to him at that time, all the time as she's speaking and walking closer to him. And then Krishna still wasn't coming. So she thought, I know what to do. I'll call out the names of Balaram. Because if I can get him to come, he's the older brother, and he'll be able to bring Krishna. So she said, Hey Rama Gatsa Tata Asu. Again, Tata. Oh my darling. Because the love in this relationship between Rohini and Yashoda and the boys, and really all the Brajbasis, they all love Krishna, and even in a village, everyone is like, it's like living in the same house with someone practically, different rooms of the same house, and they have a village relationship of like we're brothers, and you're my son, even though you're not my biological son, but there's so much affection exchanged. So, hey Rama Gatsa Tata Asu. Asu means quickly. So come, oh Rama. Rama Gatsa. Asu, quickly, immediately. You come. Sa Anuja Kulanandana. Sa Anuja, and bring with you. You come with your Anuja, your younger brother. Krishna. Kulunandana. You, oh the beloved of the family, of our family, oh beloved. Acharya said she was trying to get Krishna a little envious. But it could also mean that bring your Sanuja Kulunandana. So sometimes they use words both ways, so we're working both ways on different people. Kata eva krita haras tadbhavan moktum arati. Because you haven't eaten anything since your breakfast. So now, moktum arati, you deserve to eat now. Come now. You deserve to eat. And as she's talking and calling out, she's walking and walking towards them very carefully because she doesn't want them to run away. And then, Pratikshate Tum Darshaha. Now and that didn't fully work either. So now she increases her cleverness. Bokshamanu Vraja Adipa. That Nanda Maharaj, the king, he's waiting for you. And he won't eat without you. Why are you making him suffer hunger pains like this? Therefore come back to please us. And all the other boys, Swagrahan Yakabalaka, all the other boys will go to their home. So now she's telling the other boys to go to their homes, so therefore the game will be broken. And Nanda Maharaj is there. So how can you stop Nanda Baba from eating that? So she really she's capturing really their attention by this point. And she's telling the other boys, now you all go home. Like that. And then she increases it still further and says, my dear son, because of playing all day, your body has been covered with dust and sand. Therefore come back and take your bath and cleanse yourself. And today is not Janmatiti, Janmamaksham. Today is the day where the nakshatra sign of your birth is there, the constellation according to the moon. How many are there? 28 or so? 27. 27. So this is the nakshatra of your birthday, and you come now, and Krishna now is really everyone likes their birthday, right? now it's your birthday, and we want you, and you're not even clean yet. So come back and bathe and be clean, and then we're going to celebrate your birthday, and you'll be able to give charity to the brahmanas." It wasn't his birthday. She was telling a fib. She wasn't speaking the truth. As she was saying all this, she was walking closer and closer. And Krishna loved to give charity to the Brahmins. Ever since he was very, very little, he was so fond of giving charity to the Brahmins. So that really stopped his playing. That stopped his playing. And then actually, when Mother Yashoda got him back, she didn't want to get caught lying, because it wasn't his birthday, so they held a festival anyway. Gave Krishna the opportunity to give charity. And also she said, and then the last verse that she says right before, she's so close and saying all these things, Nanda Baba can't eat unless you come, and it's your birthday anyway, and you should give charity to the Brahmanas. And then Pasya Vayayam Te Matra Mishtan Svalankara Kritan. She said, just see. Krishna is trying to evoke the competitive spirit that Krishna had. Pasya, look. All your playmates, they've gone already. And their mothers have dressed them and they're looking so beautiful. Now, you should come here. After you've taken your bath, you've bathed, you've dressed you and ornamented you really nice, and you've eaten your lunch, then you can viharasva svalanka krita. After you've decorated again, then you can go out again. And then she caught him. And then she could bring him back. Prabhupada says in his purport, generally, young boys are competitive. Are you competitive? Okay. If one friend has done something, another friend also wants to do something. Therefore, Mother Yashoda pointed out how Krishna's playmates were decorated so that Krishna might be induced to decorate himself like that. Srila Sukadeva Goswami says, my dear Maharaj Parikshit, because of intense love and affection, Mother Yashoda, Krishna's mother, considered Krishna, who was at the peak of all opulences. There's no one more opulent than Krishna. She thought of him as her own son. Thus she took Krishna by the hand, she had caught him at this time, along with Balaram, and brought them home, where she performed her duties by fully bathing them, dressing them, and feeding them. Now all these activities are all exchanges of love between the residents of Vrindavan, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's friends. Like, what's the name of one of Krishna's friends? Sudama, Subal, Stoka Krishna, Arjun, Vishal, or two Marumangal. Any others? Raktak, Sudam, Sridam, Vasudam, Dam. So many of Krishna's friends, they're all experiencing the highest ecstasy. Krita Punya Punya, this is the perfection of all their punya, of all their existence, of all their piety. And there's such a sweet taste in all this. Now, this is the spiritual world, and Krishna comes and performs his pastimes on earth very much to attract us. Because in this world, the friendship that we have doesn't produce the highest ecstasy. The relationships don't produce the highest ecstasy because they are a reflection of the spiritual world. So he performs these pastimes specifically to attract us, to give us a taste, some of the fragrance of that realm. If we can catch a little of that fragrance, then we are very fortunate. Now what does that have to do with Japa? Now, sometimes while we're chanting Japa and we're trying to listen to the holy name, we just realize that my mind would rather stare at the bricks outside the window. Open up the window and you see that really that's all that there is. It's just bricks. It's just bricks. But the mind will still prefer to go out there. It will prefer to think of anything other than Krishna. I have no devotion in my heart at all. And here I am, I have to try, like the Goswamis of Vrindavan, Raghunath Das Goswami, he would chant all day long. He didn't want to eat. He did not want to sleep. He was just tasting the association of Krishna. And here I am, just running from Krishna. What an unfortunate soul I am. So maybe this kind of thought, we just were saying that forget all your thinking, just try to hear the holy name. But sometimes we may get a glimpse that I'm not very fortunate, even though I'm quite proud of myself and think I'm so wonderful and everyone else known as wonderful as I am, but really I don't have any devotion. So sometimes we can just take that kind of a thought and don't think about it, because that's the point. We don't want to just think about how bad we are or how good we are or anything. But take a thought that I don't have any devotion to Krishna. That's the actual fact. And let the thought of all Krishna, if you don't give me any mercy, if you don't give me one drop of mercy, what hope do I have? What hope do I have if you're not kind to me? Even though I am not deserving of, I'm not saying we should go through all these thoughts and thoughts and thoughts and thoughts, but sometimes a little prayerfulness and a little humility and a little desire for something more, to be an actual devotee, that can coat and color our chanting. Some longing for something higher, for some taste, can coat our chanting, and that's a little better. Just try to hear. But then we just try to hear too. And then sometimes some humility may come to the heart, and then we can call out to Krishna, if you are not merciful to me. What is it? Kandiya, Kandiya. What's the song? Well, I'm hearing little parts of it come. Does anyone know it? Karuna? Yes. Karuna na hoibe. If you do not give me your mercy, no. Kandiya, tears will come from my eyes, and then I'm just following behind you, just begging for your mercy, like that. Thank you. We need it spoken properly also. Sounds so nice. Much better than a broken accent saying it in your heart. Can you say it again? Oh, okay.
Very nice.
More. A little more.
Gurudev ki pavindu diya
kadiya karo ei dashe inapekshayo dina kadiya kadiya tomar charone kadiya kadiya Gurudev ki pavindu diya kare dashe inapekshayo dina.
Very excited. What? This is why we read the Bhagavatam, we hear the songs of the acharyas. We try to capture like their mood, that what they're doing with their song. Who wrote that song?
Gurudev ki pavindu.
Who wrote this? Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he, by writing this song, he's teaching us the mood to chant Krishna's names, to approach the Supreme Personality of God, to approach an exalted spiritual master. And it's like another Vrindavan example. It's like sometimes on the road to Agra, not to Mathura, and to Agra, you see some big truck riding along, and then you see some little fellow on a bicycle that's holding on to the truck. In Bombay, you don't see that. Yes? Do you see it? No. Perhaps, but perhaps not. I think. But you still see it. So Narottama Das Thakur's songs and Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs, they're like the truck, they have power. So we, being only struggling along on the bicycle of our lack of ability, getting tired, if we can hold on to the mood of their songs, then we'll speed along. And much more than our own power. Like Mother Yashoda also, she's calling out to Krishna, oh Krishna. She wants to feed him, she wants to do some service. And therefore Prabhu translated the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, oh Lord, oh energy of the Lord, please accept me, please allow me to serve you. Here I am in this world, struggling, did someone say that? Yes, struggling, and pieces of my body this piece falls apart, and then this piece falls, from this teeth fall out, the ears are this, the hair is long time fell out. Don't laugh, it's not like it's not happening to anyone else, it's only me or anything like that. And the ankles hurt, and this and that, and this and that, and our time runs out. So unless, and here I am trying, and yet I'd rather look at the bricks. See the unfortunate position I'm in. So please be merciful to me. So just a little bit of that coating the mood of the chanting is so helpful. But not to artificially do it. Okay, I've chanted now for a while. I'm listening to the mantra quite nicely. Now let me look at the bricks so I can see that I'm 74, 75, 76, 78, 79. See how bad I am, Krishna? Okay. Find out how many. Not artificially. The basic way we chant is herein. But if by Krishna's grace we move up and out chanting a little bit to that, we accept it as His mercy, and then we have to know what to do with it. So we code out chanting in it, and not become distracted, but let that mood coat our chanting, and let that mood coat our chanting, and that will make us hear more attentively even, and that will be the test, the judge whether it's the right way or the not right way what we're doing. If it's increasing the intensity of our chanting, and then and if it's becoming more effortless and natural, and that's by Krishna's grace. So we don't try and make it happen, of course. We can try, but it's not that trying helps. Just because that's the point. We like to do everything by our own power. Well, why did you open the door? Prabhu, why did you open the door? Why did you open the door? Huh? I don't think that's why you opened it. Maybe it was, but why did you open the door? At least why I thought you opened the door. Did you hear the crying of a little baby out there? A young child? Yes or no? Or you heard the knock?
Just heard the knock.
Did you hear it?
No.
Anyway, if a child is crying out there, we will open the door. So if it comes to the point that we are crying for Krishna sincerely because we want to come in, He will open the door. And we can't open the door by ourselves. And we're always trying to do everything by ourselves. But really, we can't open the door by ourselves. But if we can sincerely and fully desire that we're inside, out of the rain and the wind and the harshness of Kali Yuga existence and the frustration of Kali Yuga existence, and be inside and the warm and kind association of the devotees, then Krishna will help. And from what I've seen, it's the element. What did Prabhupada say? He said, like a baby crying for mother. When the sincerity of the calling is there, the door immediately opens. Yes? And then we say, yes, but unfortunately, I have no sincerity. And in that mood, when we understand that, the depth of our insincerity, perhaps. Why am I chanting? Because I come because I don't want to be unhappy, because I want to gain something on this level or that level. It all has to do with me. But when I see my insincerity and want something more, some actual service to Krishna, and that's very deep, and we call to Krishna, and that mood coats our chanting, and Krishna responds very, very quickly. So that's why usually when I speak about Japa, I deal with those four basic principles of just trying to hear Krishna's names, because that's what it's all based on. And that's what Prabhupada said. Basically, that's what we should do. And the problem with saying this little bit higher things is then we try to do that. Or we just get entangled in our own minds and we forget to hear. So don't try to do it. But if you feel some humility, then you should know what to do with it. Don't think about how bad I am or count the bricks, but think of, oh, Krishna, I need your mercy. Turn to Krishna. And that's the difference between humility and either low self-esteem or some neurotic behavior, is that you're not just thinking about yourself, you're thinking about Krishna, and turning to Krishna very quickly. Turning to Krishna quickly, that's humility. Okay. Any questions or comments? By the way, the chanting, when we're all chanting together, that was so nice. How did you find that chanting? Raise your hand if anyone would like to say that was fantastic. Oh, you didn't want to stop. That was nice. But okay, then someone can say, well, So it's sort of easier when we're all sitting here chanting together, and every 7 seconds, Bhurijana says, just try to hear the mantra, just try to hear the mantra, just try to hear the mantra. But then I go home thinking, yes, now I know how to chant, and then 3 days later, I'm back to the way it was, and that does happen. But what I've seen is 2 suggestions about that. If we keep determined, keep the determination just to hear one mantra, then that really, really helps, even if we're chanting alone in our room early in the morning and it's dark and cold and rainy and we're tired. Just try to hear one mantra and feel happy that you've heard. And the second thing I wanted to mention, of course, is to chant in the association of devotees, like that, when everyone is trying to chant sincerely and trying to hear Krishna's holy names. And the third thing I thought of was Ekadasi is a very good Bhakti Janani, Madhavatiti Bhakti Janani. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Madhavatiti, he says it specifically means Ekadasi too, the days devoted to Lord Madhava. They Bhakti Janani, they give birth to Bhakti, use them properly by more hearing, more chanting, and less absorption on the material level. But any day. Okay, any questions or comments? One time to sit down. 6. Any questions or comments? Yes.
Prabhupada wrote in one letter to a Mataji that to feel Krishna when chanting, and I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on what that means.
Feel Krishna.
Feel Krishna.
Well, feel Krishna's presence, perhaps. So I'd have to see the whole context of the letter, and also I'd have to see what she said to Prabhupada. Really, often you have to know what was asked to Prabhupada before you understand his answer. But try to know. He wanted us to know that Krishna and his holy name were the same. And you should know that. So just try to feel the presence of Krishna, the holy name. That's all I can think of. Know that Krishna's holy name is there. He's there in the holy name, in his holy name. Even though we may feel distant, but he's there. So if you know that he's there and you're trying to feel his presence, then either you feel it or you don't. And if you don't, you become humble and beg for his mercy. And if you do, well, it's a good day, to say the least. Or you get a hint or a glimpse. See, the attempt to hear is what we can do by our own free will and by our own power. But everything after that is so much Krishna's mercy. So let us do our part with making our attempt. We can try our best. Yes.
I have heard that if you say when you are doing good chanting, you can see the pastimes of Krishna. How far is that true?
Huh?
You can see the pastimes of Krishna while you are chanting.
Yes.
In your mind you can see the pastimes.
Yes. So what was the question?
How far is it true?
How far is it true?
Yes.
Unlimitedly far. It's not only good chanting, that's very good chanting. But we shouldn't artificially try and do it. That's what Prabhupada also said in a letter. It's like a perfection of chanting on Krishna's pastimes. Naturally, spontaneously, pure in your consciousness, but dire. Yes,
clear the difference between low self-esteem as a return to Krishna and keeping his mercy on
Can't hear.
Again, a little bit of the difference between humility and just feeling bad about yourself. Low self-esteem is called. See, low self-esteem is when you're thinking all day long about how bad you are. So who's the center of your thinking? So how is that humility? You're thinking about yourself. And humility means, oh, Krishna, please accept me despite all my love for Father. It's turning to Krishna, so you're thinking about Krishna. That's humility. That's the natural consciousness of the soul. Humble servant of Krishna. And then if that's a simple way to understand it. Who's the center? So how could it be humble if I'm only thinking about myself? Just another way of self-absorption, which isn't humility. I want to speak of it without making us happy. But humility means Krishna knows. Okay? Any other questions or comments? Yes. Okay, Mataji, and then Nityananda Prabhu, you had a question, I know. Yes.
What's required to change low self-esteem to humility? What's the changing it?
Krishna, help me. As quickly as I realized, as soon as I realized that my mind's spiraling around just thinking about me, and how quickly it can go from thinking, oh, I'm the worst, to I'm the best and the best, I'm the best, everyone is wrong and I'm right and this person's still terrible because they didn't realize how I was right, and it's all the same. It's just the heads and the tails of the false ego. It's the same coin. So as soon as we understand what the mind is just entangling us basically and playing with us, it's the material energy. It's Krishna, Krishna, if you're not merciful to me, what can I do? How
It's a
can I do?
recognition.
It's first as a consciousness of, and then a neglect of it, and I find it's not easy to turn to Krishna, because that's the last thing the rascal mind wants to do, is to turn to Krishna. But if somehow one can do it, that's humility. We can theoretically know what to do, but then the mind actually has an aversion. From what I've seen, has an aversion to Krishna. And you don't know how bad the situation is until you try to turn to Krishna, then you realize, wait a second.
Oh, they're coming that way!
Wait a second. I'm perhaps not as good a devotee as I thought. So I could even say, maybe I'm a demon. Because I'm averse to Krishna. And I need so much mercy. How will I turn unless I need mercy? Well, that's humility, to understand that point. That actually I need help. Can't do it by my own strength and power. So in the beginning, we need the enthusiasm of my own strength and power. Sometimes, yes, I'm going to do it, I'm going to save the world. And then after a while, the attempt, maybe more, to save oneself. And then let the world, not that we, but in that we can become powerful, actually, in helping others. It's the cowboy boys out there. They just want to play. Prabhu, do you have a question?
I just heard an announcement, but I'll make it at the end.
So you mentioned about hearing while praying.
About
Hearing.
Oh, just in addition to that. So there's one mood that you can have in trying to help others and preaching that yes, I'm going to do it. I'll go and save the world. Another mood is that I have no qualification to do it, but on my Guru Maharaj's order, I'm doing this as service, and I just pray that His mercy will somehow use me. I could become instrumental. Now that's a humble mood to do something wonderful, and with that mood you can save the world, and you don't take anything for yourself, any credit for yourself. Mataji, you're going to go, aren't you going to sing later?
You want? Okay, tell me.
Okay. I know that one. I'll be out So that can actually make one, then Krishna will empower you. Krishna Shakti 9 and but if you want to, if there's false ego, you want to take credit for yourself and then not fully trustworthy. So Krishna won't give you the success of the mission. So you can do something wonderful, but it will be based on humility and like we saw with Prabhupada, he accepted so much praise, but he on a certain level, people were praising him so much, but he didn't take it. He didn't take it, accept it for himself. He said, if I have done anything, my only credit is that I had full faith in the order of my Guru Maharaj. Who's given full faith means he's given me the order of Mahaprabhu. Mara Vyaya Guru Bhai Tare. But how can I do it? I'm so unqualified. You just go. You depend on me. Nimitta Karam, Radhi Sabhi Sachi. You become my instrument. This is the secret of service. It's be a servant, not be a master in one's consciousness. Yes.
Maharaj, like when we chant like for 1 or 2 rounds or 3 rounds, you feel that you can hear the sound and you can hear the mantra. After that, the mind becomes restless. Like when we have to do, when it goes to 16 rounds, then later part, like comes to the consciousness that I have to finish the rounds by somehow or the other. So it always happens like that. So how to at that time?
It always has happened like that, but you want it to always happen like that. If a taste comes, then you never want to stop. So it's almost as if you're saying, when I'm carrying something, I can carry it for a while, but then after some time I get tired. So what does that mean?
You have to keep it down.
What does that mean? If you're carrying something, after some time you get tired. No, I'm asking him.
You don't want to carry more.
What does it mean if you're carrying something and you get tired?
It's a burden on.
But what does it mean about, what is the analysis? It feels like a burden, but maybe your muscles aren't very strong. So what do you do if your muscles aren't very strong?
Gym.
Yeah. So this is the mind strengthening gym. You keep trying and don't give up. And it's hard. It's not, I don't know if any of you go to the gym, but exercise every day is one of the most boring, difficult things until you sort of surrender to the fact that I'm going to do it every day. And that's half the problem, the struggling with the mind to say, yes, to get the mind to accept that I'm going to do it every day. And and some days will be good days, some days will be bad days, but I'm going to sincerely try my best every day. If you can get it to that point, then that's a very big step forward.
does one sitting at one place helps out, or
I'm sorry, say that again, there's one?
it's like when completing chanting your rounds, it's sitting at one place in front of a picture of Lord, and it helps out, or just roaming around in the room, or how it should be done?
Well, if you take the basic standard of knowing when you're chanting well and not well, good or not good, as your attentiveness, your listening. So you judge by that. So if sitting in front of, it's best if you can just sit very straight in front of a picture of Krishna or with your eyes closed and just fully focus on hearing the holy name. And if you can't do that, if you stand up for a while or stretch your legs, but you're always trying to hear. So if you do the right thing that seems like the right thing, but you're not hearing, then it's the wrong thing. So keep that as the standard. Even something simple, which isn't easy for most of us. If you could sit in one place and sit straight and not move for 2 hours and just chant and focus your mind for that time, that's ideal. And sometimes the physical sitting straight can help. But if we can't do that, Prabhupada said even that if you're tired, what do you do? Someone asked me, he said, you've seen what I do. I stand and walk. So we can do that too. But the point is to hear, not to walk, not to sit. The internal part of hearing and focusing on Krishna's name is the basic foundational principle. You want to follow what I mean? Yes? But you have another question. No? Do you understand what I mean then? So the point is to try to hear Krishna's holy, to associate with Krishna, to bring forward our sincerity in the form of our attempt to be with Krishna, and then by hearing. And that's basically what Prabhupada was. So many instructions to that effect. We just said the best training for the mind is to neglect the mind. It's very difficult to control my mind, Prabhupada. When I chant, it wanders, Prabhupada. So what is the controlling of the mind? You don't have to control your mind. You have to chant and hear. That's all. You have to chant with your tongue, and the sound you hear, that's all. What is the question of the mind? Very simple, yes. Your sincerity and desire for doing some service for Krishna is very much encouraging to me. Please go on chanting nicely and steadily. That's the point. We should be steady. And what? Chanting 16 rounds is prescribed, but you can chant more rounds and hear them very attentively. That's what we want to do. Chanting Japa should be done early in the morning with full concentration, preferably during the Brahma Muhurta time. Concentrate fully on the sound vibration of the mantra, pronouncing each name distinctly, and gradually your speed in chanting will increase naturally. Do not worry so much about chanting fast. More important is the hearing. So people sometimes say, should I chant fast? Should I chant slow? Should I sit like this? Should I sit like this? Should I do this? Should I walk? Should I stand? Should I chant loudly, softly? The more important is the hearing. You surrender to that, to hearing, and do what is required to do to hear. Well, that's a very insistent knock. Sounds like the person's about this big. Yeah, I got it exactly right. father recognizes his son's not even. What does he think of his father? Krishna recognizes our, just make that attempt to go towards him. Yeah, that's right. Oh, okay, it's all right. It's all right.
It comes immediately.
Immediately. If we can just chant like that. Really, huh? Immediately. The father, the mother, they know the sound of the child in need. Yes.
Maharaj, how do we know that we have heard Krishna's name? Are there any symptoms that confirm that we have really heard Krishna's name?
You mean really, 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 really hurt? Or just really, really hurt? Huh? Which one? Which one do you mean?
Just the normal.
Don't worry about it. Just try to hear. Because otherwise it's just the mind will say, did I really hear? Or did I really, really hear? Or maybe I just really, really heard, but thinking I really, really, really heard, but I'm not sure that I really heard at all. Did I really Don't worry. Just try your best to touch the whole thing. Your consciousness right here. It's like saying, how do I know that the mango juice I just drank was sweet? You like it? The increasing taste. I didn't answer your question very directly. I think you got the point that I would like to say. I also sometimes say, well, did I hear, or was that just sort of like a shadow of hearing, or after I say it, then I remember hearing it? Just trying to listen. Not think about it too much. Is that all right? Sorry for that kind of an answer. Any other questions or comments? Siri, what time is it? Oh, I didn't know your name was Siri.
No, I'm not.
Okay. I obviously don't have your iPhone 3 or something. Okay, oh. Just don't tell anyone that we were talking. 6:15, did you say? Another few minutes. Any other questions? Yes.
To start with, when you're chanting, if thoughts come like say this class or the kirtan we were having, so is it, at least that's in relation to Krishna, is that okay to start with?
To start with?
As when you're chanting, if such thoughts come, like even if it's a conversation with the devotee in the temple, so at least it's in relation to Krishna. So
while you're chanting?
Yeah, I mean, if these thoughts come, is it okay to start with?
Okay, one of you asked me, is it all right to stop with that? I mean, in the sense of, should I continue doing that?
What is that continue?
What I'm saying, if I ask you, is it all right if you continue doing that? What would be their answer? Would you continue letting your mind go over and over and over again conversations you've had with devotees while you're chanting your japa? If I ask you, is it all right if I do that? Okay, it's not very good. Okay. That's my answer. Also, we agree on this point. Because sometimes, you have to ease your mind into the chanting. It's just like when people come for a class. They've all been in different places in the world and doing different things, and their minds are full of so many things, so sometimes it takes a little time to settle, which was your point, perhaps. So, okay. But don't try to hear it. Keep it simple. Because then you can say, if you say, is it all right if I do that in the beginning of my chanting? And someone will say, well, how long is the beginning? Where does the beginning stop and the middle begin? How far can I go into the middle before it's... So just try to hear, and then everything's simple. Is that all right? Any other questions or comments? Any questions? To do something of a short duration with the boys, when they're young boys, not so it becomes too burdensome or tiresome for them, but it's very good for them to know that they can do it. But the amazing thing about just trying to hear is that if you actually try your best and keep your focus, that this is what I'm trying to do, and keep determined, you actually improve. And while I think that I can't hear it at all, but then I see I can hear at least one mantra now and then, and that's such an improvement for me. So if the boys can get a feeling that they're improving and they can actually do it if they're determined, I think that would be really nice. Or to speak it if they can develop good habits. And how fortunate they'll be if they can learn to control their minds before they hit their teenage years. How fortunate. How much suffering they'll avoid, how much frustration, how much unhappiness they can learn that. Any other thoughts or questions?
Are we going to chant some more?
Yes, Mata. Yes. Okay. What time again? 6:30. Okay, let's chant for 10 minutes. 25, that's 15 minutes. Should I keep reminding you while you're chanting? Okay, now we've just talked for a long time, and before that we were chanting for a long time. And what will the mind want to just nicely and gently fit back into hearing right now? Well, it may, but it may not. But in any case, keep the same principle. That be determined that all I have to do for this 10 minutes, and then we'll make it 10 minutes. What's a 10-minute? You have a timer on your Nokia? 10-minute countdown timer? Set it for 10 minutes. For 10 minutes, all you have to do, you have nothing else to do during this 10 minutes. You have nothing else to think about other than trying your best to hear one mantra or one holy name. If you can become determined on that simple principle for this 10 minutes, then we're ready to begin. So get your determination settled, and the timer is going. Okay, let's begin. Remember, respect try to hear the first bite. chanting, you jumped right into such a tempered chanting and sincere chanting. It was really obvious. Thank you. Okay, so we'll end our session now. And we'll see you tomorrow. Prabhu, you wanted to?
There's a book called Japa book written by Bhurijana Prabhu. So there are 20 copies available and signed by Bhurijana Prabhu himself here. The book is a very special book. It's a collection of various principles or keys of improving and increasing the quality of Japa. Recently I was in India and I was told that the senior devotees in India are planning to translate that book in various languages, in Indian languages. So
It's in Hindi and Gujarati.
Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi. Shamananda's USL University starting it. So yeah, if you like it.
Also in Chinese. Okay, class dismissed.